If you are so sick of comparing yourself, your body, to everyone around you, to never feeling enough no matter what you do, this is for you. I'm going to teach you a proven tool that will transform that comparison into confidence, and you will feel like $1 billion after this. So let's get going. If you're looking for more tools and support on how to transform this relationship with your body so you can get rid of the negativity, the comparison, come back to the truth of who you are, and radiate in your confidence, then you can subscribe to my channel and you'll be notified every week when I post a new video. And a reminder, I'd love to hear in the comments below what's happening for you in this video. Are you loving it? What are the amazing benefits you're experiencing? What topics would you love to see more of? That would make me so happy. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Okay, let's get into it. So 2 things. We're going to go through 2 parts of this proven strategy to overcome comparison. So what you're going to do is you're going to follow me and I'm going to guide you through. I'm going to have you do a little active participation. And yeah, just a quick reminder that when comparison happens, number one, it's a normal thing. We're born in this world, through evolution, natural selection, all these things. Like, we were born to have this strategy of comparison to help us to stay safe. But the reality is today, and the irony being, I know that when this part of you that gets activated with comparison, it looks to that other person and goes, okay, like, am I better than them in this way, or am I less than them? And how do I adjust myself so that I can feel safe in the world, so that I'm not going to be left behind? I want to belong. I want to be chosen. It's this never-ending story in that sense. And there's a lot of harm in comparison because, as you know, this part of you thinks it's motivating you to compare you to someone. But what happens is, it's, unless we feel quote unquote at the same level or better than that person, we just end up feeling like crap. And then we do a whole bunch of strategies to try and feel better about ourselves. And that might be like shopping and buying a bunch of clothes, or feeling the pressure to change our physical bodies, or, avoiding going out or being around certain people because you don't feel good enough around them. So these strategies that the comparison part uses actually aren't motivating. And that negative self-talk that the comparison part of you uses is not motivating either, right? And so the irony being, this whole part that was created to try and support us to be safe in the world, this comparison part, everything it's set out to do doesn't actually support you in any way. So we're going to lovingly help this part of you to understand that and to rewire that energy and those beliefs that are keeping you stuck. So I invite you to tap along with me and repeat after me. And as we do this, I'd love for you to tune in to what I refer to as this part that loves to compare. And maybe you can become aware of a few thoughts, common phrases that this comparison part says. Okay? So repeating after me. Even though I have this part of me that has this habit of comparing my body to others, I love and accept myself. Even though I have this part of me that learned to compare my body to others, I love and accept myself. Even though I've got this comparison part, and somewhere it learned that if I compare my body to others, do this whole comparison thing, it's keeping me safe in some way. I love and accept myself regardless. I've got this comparison part of me. This little part loves to compare my body to other people's. whether that be friends, family, people in social media. This little comparison part gets real activated. And it loves to say things like, so keep tapping and I will invite you to share aloud with me, what does this comparison part love to say? What else does it love to say? Okay, so now you're going to repeat after me. Dear comparison part, I know you used this strategy of comparison because you learned it. It's not your fault. I know you think that this comparison pattern is trying to help us. You're trying to motivate me in some way. You're trying to keep me safe in the world. But the truth is, when you do that comparison thing, I end up feeling really low about myself. It doesn't feel good. I end up feeling insecure, shame, like I'm not good enough. And it actually takes me further and further away from my power, from the truth of who I am. From my confidence. And I know you don't actually want that. I'm not sure if you knew that this little pattern was hurting me this much. So I'm curious if we could try this a different way. I'm curious if there was another way for us to feel motivated to be the best version of ourselves. I'm curious if you'd be open to doing this a little differently with me. And instead of focusing all of our energy on comparison, focusing more of our energy on what makes us who we are. all the things that are inherently special and unique about us. That is already feeling a lot more inspiring. I can feel that energy building. When I think about tuning into our gifts, our strength, our personality, how I make people feel, I can feel that energy rising. So what if we could try this little comparison thing a little differently moving forward? Knowing that it's not really supportive at all. Let's give you a little job promotion and help you direct your energy to something more supportive. I love and appreciate everything you've been doing to try and support me. But it's time for that job promotion comparison part. And I'm here with you. We're going to figure this out together. Okay, so take a nice, easy breath. Notice how that feels in your body. Notice what you're aware of when you realize that it's a part of you that learned the strategy to compare, right? This part just learned this through no fault of its own. And if that's what it is, it's a part of you that learned this strategy. And when you can be in relationship with this part of you and have that awareness when this comparison part wants to do that whole comparison thing again, to pause and go, okay, dear part of me, we're doing it again, and I want to gently, lovingly remind you, because these parts don't actually know. No one stops to tell them, hey, P.S., this comparison thing is really hurtful and it's not working. To just gently go, I know you're trying to support me, you're trying to motivate me to be the best version of myself, you're trying to keep me safe, but this thing it's actually really hurting us. And you know that because when you get in that comparison spiral, the shame just gets deeper and deeper, and we just sink further and further away from our true selves. And then what action, if any, positive are we taking from that place? Next to nothing, because our nervous system is shut down. So by sharing with this comparison part, hey, like, I appreciate you're trying to support me, but it's not working. This is hurting us. I wonder if we could come back to a different strategy together and come back to the truth of who we are. So having that little rerouting moment to gently speak to this little comparison part like we just did, we interrupt that pattern and we actually want to remind this part of you, this little comparison part, like what is true about you. So instead of comparing, take a breath and come back and come back to the truth of who you are. So share with this comparison part. This would be a great opportunity for you to reflect and write down, like, what are the things about myself that I really love and appreciate that have nothing to do with my body, that make me who I am? Like, what are those things? Writing them down almost like little mantras to yourself, and you can speak them aloud and tap through the points just like this and anchor in those truths. And so this is going to take repetition, because the comparison is a strategy and it's something that we do over and over again because it's learned. But the amazing news is that because it's learned, it can be unlearned. And by you repeating this video and you in those moments redirecting that comparison part and then reframing to help highlight, hey, like, here are some things that I love about myself. Like, I love the way I make people feel. I love how compassionate I am. I love, that I love going for walks with my dog. I love my family. I love that I'm a driven, ambitious person. I love that whatever it is, and taking the time to anchor back that in, you will really stand tall in your worth and who you are, because those are the fundamental things that make you who you are. And we get trapped in this cycle of fixating on our appearance, which is just a very dark negative spiral hole, because as long as we're attaching to that, we're never going to feel worthy enough, because there's always going to be things that we can change about our appearance, and it's never going to keep us solid in who we are. So you have to gently remind this comparison part and help to bring back that focus to the truth of who you are, separate of your body. And I promise you, you are going to experience miracles, exclamation mark, underline, bold, highlight, period. If you repeat this and you commit to doing this loving work with that comparison part, it just needs to be retrained, and that's the secret. So I hope that was valuable for you. I'd love to hear in the comments below how you're feeling now about yourself, this comparison. And just a reminder, if you're really struggling and you want that support in your relationship with your body, you're done with this negativity, this comparison, you want to step into the life that you truly deserve, the one that happens when you're not consumed by all this negativity and obsession about your body and fixation on food, because you're truly standing in your worth and your power, then please call me. I'm here. I offer free complimentary calls. I would love to support you in thriving in your life and having everything that you deserve. And it comes from rewiring those beliefs, those thought patterns, and coming back to the truth of who you are. Love you so much. I'll recommend that you check out these videos next, because I know they'll really support you, and I'll see you next week.